Hey everybody, Joe Haygood here, aka mclazyj. We're back. Oh, I gotta get my phone so it's not banging up super loud. So I can also hit the record button if I come across anything funny. Alright, so we ended yesterday's session where we had survived the ionic storm. We didn't listen to the captain, which we said we would. We didn't listen to the captain.
Carter. I'm okay. But that's a lot.
She got hit.
Let me help you.
The teammate got hit with an ionic blast. So hopefully she's not dead. Ooh. Scarred for life.
We've got one wounded at my location. Millie.
Oh, man.
We'll see you at sickbay.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermont?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Uh-oh. He's about to give us the business.
You disobeyed my orders. Well?
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information
You
I had.
disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order, but you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So
That's
I
right.
made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to, you did what you had to.
You placed a lot of trust in me, bringing me here. I feel like I've let you down.
I brought you here for a reason. I'm still sure it was the right one.
Oh. Why did I put myself on this
Despite it
screen?
all,
No, I hit it. My bad. Hold on.
So if you'll fetch Mr.
There we go.
Vermont, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotar.
Yes, sir.
I knew there was going to be some blowback for that choice. He wasn't going to be happy with my choice of what I did there. You know? I took the lead. I made a choice.
All departments reporting full mission readiness. We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sit. Sit, everyone. You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar. That should do it. Set a course for the Hotari system. Prepare to go to Warp 8.
Aye, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me? Helm. Do it.
Nicely done.
Easy. Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look so good.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside.
That's not good. How did we let our levels go that quick?
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on her, but she'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your
Well, we
deridium
were the
levels
one that
got
sent her out
dangerously low when
there,
it stabilized
and
your cell
then-
structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
Rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the deridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet, and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
Oh, excuse me.
It does make me unique, but it's not a burden at all. I'm honored to be Kobliad, to represent my people.
As you should be. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is
Well,
now
that
he's
can't be
further
good.
away
We
from the
just
thing
got
he's been
news that
chasing
our
his
captain
entire
might be
career.
on the breaking point.
Breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen. And we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship, and everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
And my work here is done.
Lieutenant Bedrosian.
I came to see if you were okay. We were all pretty worried on the bridge. No one knew what was happening.
I'm feeling much better. Thank you. It's just part of who I am.
You don't have to explain to me. I understand. I'm just glad you're okay. You trusted me earlier with the shields, and I appreciated that. I want you to know that I have your back.
Thank you.
Got a shuttle.
Complete the diagnostic sequence, and this shuttle will be cleared for service.
Yes, sir.
The storm in the Hotari region will interfere with our transporters, so we need all available shuttlecraft in working order.
Excuse me, Commander Trovak.
Petty Officer Maris, I will leave you to your work.
I stopped by sickbay and saw Nilly. I figured you'd want to know.
It's my fault she's in there. I should have made her go first.
Maybe, but I wouldn't want to see you hurt like that any more than her. Dr. Duval said she'll be back on duty soon, though.
But she's gonna hate me.
Come on. I have to run the
I
final
was so
diagnostic.
mean. The Melville.
I can't stay long. I've got a long to-do list before we get to Hotari, and things are piling on faster than I can check them off.
Like as in Herman Melville?
We're making all our last-minute checks and security, too.
Well, nothing's ever 100%. But we'll be good to go.
And if you wait until you are ready, it's probably too late. Which is why I didn't want to wait for just the right time. I had a chance to think about this while I was away. Then you and Nilly almost got killed out on the hall. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
This is just a guess, but you like me. Is that what this is?
How'd you know? Must have been pretty obvious. Which is funny because...
Well, you know, I was hoping.
I guess that makes this a little easier to say. We've been really good friends for a long time. I want to see if there's more between us. Than
Well, that
just being
escalated
friends.
quickly.
You don't have to explain it. I feel the same way. There is something between us.
So, do you want to find out what that something is? If it's there for you, and it's there for me, why not give it a try?
We don't have to put too much pressure on it. Let's just see where this goes.
I like that. Definitely felt some pressure coming down to see you.
These are uncharted territories.
I'd call it a chemistry experiment. You know, with us.
Inquiring minds are gonna want to know about this, so... Do you tell Nilly, or do I?
I wouldn't worry about that.
Level 1 diagnostic complete.
I have to get back to that to-do list. They're probably looking for me.
Can't blame him.
I'll be seeing you.
And then she died. No, just kidding. That would suck. Cast adrift.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Whoa.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Shield integrity holding.
We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Jesus, that took a long time.
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
It won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Diaz.
You gotta do it, Diaz. You gotta get that shuttle.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation. We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Oh, that's a biggie.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17, 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Hey, XO, you do all the work so I can just sit here and take credit for it.
Got it.
Oof.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Huh. I'm an MVP. Tractor beam MVP. Thank you very much.
craft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Oh.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Oh, shit. Okay, that was unexpected.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam is commendable. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind. Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past, but our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Lydians have shared a mining operation there. The Lydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force.
Okay.
The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace. Until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Lydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari.
Hey, what's up?
They requested Federation mediation. but the details remain
Aaron!
I am streaming
Where are you?
at...
Where is Aaron right now?
Let's see.
How is it the
I am streaming at
take the mines against superior forces?
1080p, 60 frames per second, 6,000 bit rate.
The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace.
I'm kind of surprised it's coming across grainy.
Let
me see.
But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet if this escalates to open war.
Also, how are you, Sync Gaming? Hopefully everything's well.
This conflict will
Hopefully can't complain.
Bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Yeah, so basically, I used to stream at 720p, 60, and 6,000.
And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
How are you today? I do love that quote. Aaron. Where is Aaron at? It's funnier because my boss is an Aaron, so every now and then I'll be like, he'll call me, I'll be like, what do you need? Aaron?
In the past, the Federation has relied on the Elydians.
I am playing on Xbox, so that's one difference.
That certainly changes things.
Is there what's the error that you're getting?
So we've already played a part in this.
Unfortunately, that is indeed the case, Commander Rydek.
Maybe I can try to give you a hand with it. I do a lot of PC gaming, although I will say that my gaming is more Xbox focused now than it was.
Given the Federation,
I have a thing for achievements.
Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
I know. I don't know why YouTube has such a delay.
And we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
It's like there's some sort, it's like almost a 30-second delay sometimes between a conversation I'm having. I apologize for that. But it's a YouTube thing. I haven't figured out why. I have a gigabit fiber connection here in my office. And I've tested the stream. I actually could bump it up to about 10,000 bit.
They have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
I haven't found a setting for the delay yet, but I will look. I will check into that before I stream later tonight. I know I've had a bunch of people tell me like there's this delay, and I don't know if it's because I'm not like a partner level streamer.
So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly.
Well,
Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our
I probably have the bandwidth to do it here at work. I hadn't done it just because, as an IT manager, I don't want to soak up a ton of bandwidth.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do.
I never really thought about it too much with the delay settings. I mean, I know it kind of sucks. It's hard to have a conversation sometimes, but...
Your first officer, for example,
but I'll look into it. You ask, I shall do what I can to make it better. I'll look into streaming at a higher bit rate. I always thought 6,000 was a kind of a nice compromise, because I'm always afraid if you go too high, it might hurt people that...
Maybe that helps in this case.
I'm honored to be included
trying to
in the
get the right way.
negotiation
I don't want to limit an audience that comes in that has a problem with the bit rate.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will
My biggest thing right now is I'm trying to be better at making sure I pay attention.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Let's see. If you don't mind me pausing real quick, I can take a look. You should still be able to hear me, but I'll go and look at the desktop real quick. Sorry, I'm in my office, so I kind of have to stream as I can in my office. I'm looking real quick, seeing if I can find something. I'm getting to my... Let's see, stream latency. Oh, there you go. Well, that's interesting. It doesn't give me the option to do anything with it. I wonder if I have to set it beforehand. Yeah, so I can't... Well, let's see. If I hit edit, does it let me... No, it doesn't let me change it. Once I'm live, it doesn't let me change it. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad you pointed it out. I always thought it was on low latency, and I always thought it was weird when people would complain. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Saint Gaming. I'm glad that you were able to point that out. I'm sorry to also hear that you're having issues with the game. I wish it would be better. Also, when I'm done with this stream, I will make sure to follow your channel. Oh boy, she got a big old scar.
Mr. Diaz.
We're responsible for that scar. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling anything for you.
It is imperative that the ambassador's shuttle be flight ready.
I am enjoying it. It is a Trek-ass Trek story. Like it's everything that you would expect.
I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive
and
any
I don't tell anybody to follow me.
As if it were somehow
I just tell people watch, and if you enjoy what you're watching, I hope you'll follow. If you don't, I get it.
I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
Commander Chovak, is there anything you do enjoy?
I take pleasure in the satisfaction of a job well done. I suggest you try it sometime.
I know.
Make note of any abnormality.
There are some good decisions that you have to make, man, and it is one of those things you're not going to make everything.
No, couldn't have been.
I've never played the Fleet Command mobile game. I played a lot of the old school Star Trek games on the PC way back in the day. Star Trek 25th Anniversary, Judgment Rights.
Doc says I should get used to it. Doesn't mean I want to be reminded of it every minute of the day.
Hey, you won't get pity from me. I think it makes you look tough. As tough as you really are, that is.
And that makes you sound pretty smart. I might need you to save me from myself next time, though. Come on. Let's get to the bottom of this.
I played,
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
I played a little bit of Elite Force. I played
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you.
I actually have played Bridge Crew. I haven't played it in VR yet.
Terms. That just isn't going to work for me.
I finally have a VR headset for the PlayStation, so at some point, I think it supports. I think it supports crossplay, and I actually have the DLC now for it, the next generation DLC. I need to finish the Kobayashi Maru scenario though. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload.
My buddy played it in VR when we were playing. We did a couple sessions.
Well, maybe the ship's
it was myself and two of my friends from that were all on a podcast together on the You Like the Worst Stuff podcast.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
One of them was playing in VR.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
And then two of us were not. And then we had a fourth person from the stream jump in and join us.
Still, we should take a look.
I liked it. I do want to try it in VR though at some point.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow.
My problem is trying to stream a game when you're in VR is very difficult. Yeah, I gotta check it out. Like I said, I that was my bigger problem was I was afraid.
Variance out of tolerance.
Like I'd have to have my wife there watching chat or somebody watching the chat.
The main navigation array lost sight of space
because you can't see it when you got your VR headset on. You know what I mean?
Should have also thrown a fault code.
That's my big. Not that I have a bustling channel, as you can see. I have, you know, some people come in here and there, but I'm working on trying to grow the audience. That's why I've been doing a lot of shorts productions and stuff to get people to check things out.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There, that's the relays blowing.
So.
And look. There's another warp system alert.
Oh.
They're all the same.
Well, that's interesting.
Subspace variance out of tolerance or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two.
That's interesting. Now, I'm gonna guess that all depends on the VR headset that you're using.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
So. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally hit B there and it took me to the main menu. Great, I gotta go through this whole thing all over again. Yeah, well, see, because I was thinking, because I have it on PlayStation. I have a PlayStation VR.
Discussed the warp drive failure
Yeah, see, I screwed this up. I accidentally, when it was giving me the instructions, I hit X, and it took me to the main menu. So we're having to watch this over again a little bit. Sorry.
The system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's
I wonder if that, like I said, I've never tried it with the PlayStation VR, so I'd have to see how that works.
Satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
I'm trying to make sure I choose all the same dialogue options. Yeah.
I take pleasure in the satisfaction of a job well done. I suggest you try it.
So,
make note of any
have you? I
abnormalities in your report.
I guess I should ask. I'm an older gamer. I'm in my early 50s, 51.
No, couldn't have been.
But I played a lot of, like I said, the old DOS games
nice
in the
thing about
90s. I
Vulcans.
played a lot of those.
Chobok is the only person
And like I
who
said, it
can
was
look at this
Star Trek 20.
treat you
And
like
the
I was
neat thing about those was, for the time, it was amazing. They had the entire cast
Doc
doing the
says I
voice
should
work.
get used to it.
Hey, you won't get pity from me. I think it makes you look tough. As tough as you really are, that is.
I do have an Oculus Quest 2 or Meta
I
Quest
might
2,
need
whatever you
to
want to
see
call
for
it.
myself next time, though.
I do
Come
have
on.
an Oculus
Let's get to
Quest
the bottom
2.
of this.
I don't use it as much as I should. You know, you spent the money on it, you should use it. My wife likes to use it for like doing Beat Saber for exercising, because she'll sit there for like 30 minutes.
Let's
You
run
know,
the
you get a
diagnostic.
workout doing that stuff. So,
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a priority 1 dispatch.
they got
right
Judgment
after the
Rights. They had 25th anniversary. They had the original
happy
cast
for
doing
you.
the original voice. Elite
Focus here.
Force, I believe, had most of the
Thanks.
original cast doing their voice work as
I'm
well.
only going to tell you this
That
once.
was one like
Don't
Windows
screw
98.
this up, because I would be
Windows
very
XP,
unhappy
right
if you
around
tried
there.
this out and then,
It was a shooter built on the Quake 2 engine. Like
later,
everything
I
was
have
built
to
on the Quake 2
splitting
engine back in the day.
holidays between the
Even
two of you.
Call of Duty was built
all
on a
because
heavily
things went south
modified
when you're not on speaking terms.
That's not gonna
modified
happen,
version of
okay?
the Quake 2 engine, which is hilarious.
Why are you even going there? We haven't even gone on a date yet.
I just want you to know.
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up.
I guess I just have
Relays
like
along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
I guess the
EPS
thing that I'm
overload
looking
from the
at
warp
is
drive
with a
process.
MetaQuest 2, I don't know how you
shuttle
stream
end up
outbound.
dead in
I
the
guess you
water?
hook it up to a PC, don't you? Maybe I'm just
Maybe
being
the
an
ship's
idiot.
data recorder can tell us something.
You could, if you chose. It did have an online multiplayer mode. It was. I mean, it was based on, like I said, a shooter engine. I believe it had a multiplayer component where you could mess around and.
They were only about 8 minutes.
But it had a
from the
great
plotted
story
warp
in it. And then they did an Elite Force 2,
No fault,
which had a great
just those
story in it. Oh god, they have made so many. Like there was Star Trek Legacy, which was weirdly enough a Bethesda joint, I believe.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
Cracked warp
They
coil
also did
goes
those
fault
live
code.
action ones
Still,
that they
we
did.
should take
Like
a
they
look.
had a Bridge Commander, and then there was the Klingon one, and there was something else.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
And like I believe
lucky the
that
shuttle didn't turn inside out.
oh gosh, I can't think of
the
his
computer
name.
panicked on the
Israel,
warp field
Walter
equation.
Koenig, Chekhov. He was in I think Bridge Commander.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
That's what I'm saying. So
array
you
going
do have to
offline
hook it
cause
up to your PC.
Yes, but it should have also
And
thrown
output.
a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a shot at
Here,
some
they
point.
take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked or the navigation array is offline.
So I should
makes
warn
sense.
you also, Sync Gaming, that
Divide and conquer. You want to check the
I'm
warp
streaming
coils
right
or
now
the
on my lunch
navigation
breaks. I
array?
stream most
I'll check the
days
other.
during my lunch break at work.
Let's not overcomplicate
And
this. One of
so
these systems is
stream
likely
lasts about an
broken.
hour and 10
I'll check the
minutes.
nacelles for a cracked coil.
So don't be surprised like about that. I'm just giving you some warning ahead of schedule. But okay, I gotta make sure I hit B this time and not X. I hit X to go to equip it, and it took me to the main menu, which I thought was hilarious. I'm scanning you, girl. No, just kidding. Okay. Okay.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So
my first gaming computer was, well, I did gaming on an Apple II Plus at school.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
I used to write a bunch of dumb choose-your-own-adventure games in BASIC. Way back in the day. The first gaming computer that we owned in my house was a Tandy 1000 Model A.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface.
I love that
as soon as they
computer.
come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work.
Dropping in memory
Just
chips. I remember
hoping to see
a thing
you
shipped
before I
with
go.
256 kilobytes of memory,
captain and the
a
others
single
will be heading in
5 1/4 inch floppy drive.
Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
No, that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now.
Go on, do your job. I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back.
You better be.
I thought it would be a little unprofessional to kiss her right there.
Be seeing you.
Or I shouldn't say unprofessional, unprofessional. Can't speak.
Etzilard Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go.
Yeah.
All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
I'm hoping that you get your game up and running, though. I am enjoying it from a Star Trek perspective. It has all the elements of a Star Trek game.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
But the
Oh, no, that's okay.
Instead of the shuttle.
I've been married for 20, well, coming up on 28 years.
Run the simulation.
23, 24, 27 years. 27 years.
Computer, give me
Excuse
manual
me.
control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 0.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened
Yeah,
to the
I
shuttle
mean,
just happened
it's
to us.
one of those things where it's like, well, because they're not having to focus on like a heavy action component, they can deliver a Star Trek quality narrative. A Star Trek quality descriptive narrative game. It does have some actiony elements, but a lot of it is all choice focused and based. So you're creating your own episode of Star Trek at the end of the day, which is kind of neat. I know there's some people out there that'll just be like, it's just Telltale doing Telltale. It's like, well, yes, the people that made it are former Telltale developers, and this is what they do. This is the genre that they have made popular over the last decade or more.
The honor is ours. And this is
And
Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Lydians.
I do want to. I need to look at the credits of this game because I do want to know if that's Leonard Nimoy. I believe he was. I know he was working on this game and recording dialogue.
So we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
And they normally do make good
the heroes of the revolt in the mines
games in this mindset. And there are a lot of games out there that have that mindset. Like I don't think it's out on PC that I'm aware of. But Until Dawn was a fantastic. Now that was done by Supermassive Games. And they made the Dark Pictures anthology games as well, which are also really good. They're a little more bite-sized. Until Dawn, though, was this fantastic narrative-based game that had quick-time action events.
That guy was something.
Something about his tone tells me this won't
And
be easy.
That was my sense as well.
I loved that game. I platinumed it, finally. And I was so happy I did. I play it normally every Halloween, because every October, I should say. And but it's the fact that when you look at the cast that they got, and how famous that cast got after the fact of making the game. I mean, when you look at Until Dawn, they had Hayden Panettiere. Okay. He does a good job. Sounds like him. I know we're gonna get some flack from that, probably from the captain.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Holtari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Holtari people and their queen, but recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
Saying this wouldn't be easy was an understatement. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not part
She
of...
can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Ah. I haven't seen Riker yet.
Now then, what is your name?
Normally, their contracts require them to work on this kind of stuff if it's asked. And if they still have like a standing contract agreement, which they probably did at the time because they were filming Picard and they were all in it. Therefore, their contract, the way that Star Trek contracts and the actors have worked is that they have to work on participatory content. That's why they worked on the video games back in like the early 90s.
The blood is on there.
That's okay. I had, when I was tagging up my video using TubeBuddy, I saw that Frakes and Riker came up, so I assumed he was going to show up at some point.
To right that wrong. To get out from under their control. Would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Wow, we made an impression on Spock with that one.
Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Elydians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without a Lydian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially
interesting.
the Otari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies. The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries.
Whoa. Whoa.
Who deserves
This got hot real quick.
Trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Lydians? Can only be one or the other, not both.
Oh boy.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
Agreed.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Ryder.
Oh, I'm sure the captain is not going to be happy with me. I have done everything to piss this captain off. Oh, man, he is not happy with me at all. So mad. He's so mad. He's so not happy with me.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
He's just so mad. Okay. I need to. Oh, man. That was just so funny. The way he looked at me, he was just like, oh, shit. Oh, give me a second. That was funny. Oh, man. Sorry there, Saint Gaming. I have to change from one location to the other when I do my getting ready to go off stream. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad we had the conversation. I'm gonna have to try the Oculus thing because I've never hooked up my Oculus to a PC before. I knew I could do it, I just never had. So I want to give it a shot, and maybe I'll pick up Bridge Crew because I haven't, like I said, I have it on PlayStation, but it is difficult to do the chat. You know, because you can't. There are no plugins to do that with the PlayStation VR headset. So it's either doing this and then putting it back on and trying to look at your chat all the time, or like I said, having a third party reading the chat to you. So, but yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah, if I honestly though, I agreed with the grunt labor force, you know? That's my thing. I agreed. They're the ones that were actually harvesting the minerals. They're doing the hard, the leg work and the difficult work and the dangerous work. I felt they should get the credit. You know? Anyways. Anyways, like I said, we'll be on later tonight. I might play some more of this tonight on stream. I normally go live at 9:30. I had scheduled Famicom Detective or Gotham Knights, but I might flip that around. Yeah, I know. Then people give me crap because I tend to sometimes I get so locked in on the game I don't pay attention to the chat. You did what I tell people all the time. That's why I type all those messages in ahead of schedule and always end with the chat thing. So it's like, hey, so people can see it when they first come in. Like, hey, you know, if you come in here and I'm not paying attention, man, play one of these sounds and I will pay attention. I promise you I will. So, anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks, Sync Gaming, for coming by. As soon as I get wrapped up, I'm going to get over to your channel. I'm going to give it a follow, and probably later I'm going to try to watch one of those videos for the bridge crew to see how it all works. So, till next time, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful evening. I will be back on again. Yeah, I guess I could. Yeah, you're right. I could do it with the screen reader. That's not a bad thought. That's an interesting premise. So, anyways, till next time, thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, I will be back on tonight, 9:30. I'm going to get this installed because I do want to play more of this now. I'm really kind of invested in the story. So, if I have to, I'll just push to tomorrow for Famicom Detective or Gotham Knights. So, until then, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, Gotham. Or, Gotham. See, I got Gotham on the brain. It's a good one. I like it. Till next time, thanks everybody for watching. Have a wonderful evening and afternoon. And like I said, if you want to watch Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. roughly, I'll be on with more of it. Bye now.